Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Peggy from the Pearl Forest, and continuing my sort it out, trying to eliminate excess things and use things up. So we're also on a use it up adventure. This time I have some file folders and I have some already pre-torn. Let me show you the one that isn't marked on. Scraps of wrapping paper. And I had enough to cover 4 file folders. They're just flattened out and they're not trimmed around the edges yet. And I just did it till I got a complete coverage. But it's really just for a background. So one example of what I started out doing is I had some Sharpies and some paint pens, and this one has circles and little tic-tac-toe. Most of them are 3 by 3. Occasionally there might be something a little different, and then also like 3 dots. So that's kind of random on here. This was, I think, a purple pen. They don't come out exactly as they were, so I'm not sure if that was purple. But then we have black and we have gold. So that's starting to blur the wrapping paper, which was the idea. This one has squares, some of them colored in, some of them open. It has that same whatever color pen that was. It looks sort of like a purple here, but I'm really not sure what it was because it was running out of ink. I think I threw it away at this point. So I used it up. But also the gold and the black, plus some little 3 dots. Some were smaller pens and some were a larger pink paint pen. Now when you're doing something like this, I have some advice for you. As you're doing it, you're better to start off here and then rotate your project around, because if you lean across while you're working, you will end up with some kind of dotted disease. This is gold paint pen. It'll come off in a day or so, but when I recently washed, I noticed that. Now this one just has some minimal squiggles and some of the dots, and like I said, this one I hadn't done anything yet. My plan is to add additional things to these. So why don't we start with sort of some green purple and pick one of these that we want to be green purple. Well, because I'm thinking of just cutting this out in like squares, let's go with this one. So this will be cut into journal cards and tags afterwards. So they can just be random sizes of things. And it doesn't have to be squares. It could be rectangles as well. It kind of fits what we're doing here. Basically straight lines for the most part. So to spread this around, I think I will do them a little smaller. Maybe like that. And then also do, and they don't have to be perfectly square, although I think I'd like to aim for a little straighter. I don't know if you've done it when you're cutting and then you kind of pull your scissors to the side. Then you get a not straight edge. So we'll add some of these. So we'll try that many to begin with, but we do have some more of this if we want. And oops, it's just one, yeah. So then we'll also do some of these. So I hope you're having a great day and having fun creating and using it up. This is my 2025 challenge, is to sort it out and use it up. I also am planning to go on the road, and I'm just going to use this for glue. Go out actually on the road and do some traveling and visiting and some art. Let's see, I kind of want to go over to the edge here. So I'll continue my series that I do here of on the road, along with the hide and seek, but I am going to also do some actually out on the road. I don't know if I'll be able to upload videos, so I'm going to try to have enough of them uploaded for you guys before I hit the road, so that you don't have to miss anything. And I will try to record some while I'm gone as well. Let's see. My goal here with these, one is to use it up, but also to kind of lose the background down here. You might have something peeking out, but not this kind of Noah's Ark animal thing. Let's see. Oops. Okay. I don't know what you have that you need to use up. I thought about doing each of these a little, oops, I guess I still need that, a little differently with a different color scheme, because we don't want to have a gazillion of one kind. Another thing I worked on today is I glued up a number of covers, but I actually have to go somewhere else to sew some, because my sewing machine isn't functioning like you saw the other day when I had to sew the one by hand. But I want to be able to take some journals with me. Plus we have a March challenge that I'm doing. I don't know if you're familiar with Carrie the Crafter. That's C-E-R-I, the Crafter. His channel is doing a March challenge that I would like to participate in, and it will be a daily video, just a quick one for part of the challenge. So I'm going to have to work hard to get them a little bit ahead to be able to get time to do all of them. So this starts pulling your eye and distracting you from the pattern of the wrapping paper. And it's not done. I might put some napkin on. I might do a little bit of paint. I might do, let's see, what do we have not down yet? These ones. I might do some more markers. This is not stuck as well, but we'll put that down, but then we'll also just go over it like that. So let's see, we need some purple in here, and a stripe one in here. So that's kind of spreading them around. Let's make some smaller ones and go back in and sprinkle these in and use them up. hope if you don't have exactly what I have, that you will have something that you can use to play along. Let's just try overlapping them even a little bit. Let's see, I could put this, whoops, solid one down there. I know part of this is out of view because it's kind of big. I'll try to move it around so you can see. Let's see. Maybe put this one in here. Polka dot in here. I'm not going to actually cut these up as part of the video. I think you've all experienced, probably have anyway, cutting up a masterboard. If not, you'll see them in their cut up state as I put them into journals. I don't know, I just put that there, I guess. Oops. This particular scrapbook paper has quite a variety of colors or tones or shades or shapes within it. It's not solid, whereas this one is the green with the two colors of purple and then a white. Let's see, we could put this one up here. Here's another stripey. That would be good in here. And then once these are cut into cards, I think that's all of them for this. Once they're cut into cards, then we'll add additional decorations to them. So that's how this one is looking right now. I brought in a green marker so we can come in here and add. That doesn't look too green. It's kind of a different color of green, so I'm not sure how successful this is. Kind of a puny color here. So I don't think I'm going to do a lot of that. How does this look on white? It's not, well, they're not white on this side. They are. That's kind of a dirty yellow green. Not would have been my choice. I don't have a purple one handy. This is more of a maroon. I think I like that better. Where else did I draw those? Maybe we can kind of rescue them. That's a little better. Here's one. Okay. So just a little extra stuff. So I'm going to leave that one at that. Like I said, we might have some time to put some stamps or something on it. Oh, here's one more. We'll just put it over into our scraps though. Okay, so this one, there's another one. This one is just squiggly lines. And this one is plain. I'm going to take that sort of in a pink direction. This one has a lot of stuff on it. We could go with these. That doesn't really go with this, I don't think. I think this goes with it more with the circles. And we could even punch out some circles to glue on. I'm doubling it because I think it will be easier to punch. So do a few of these, sprinkle them around. Okay. If you're out there watching and you're enjoying it, please like and subscribe and leave a little comment in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. See what you think I can do to improve my channel, what you find interesting, how you came across it, what you'd like to see, anything like that. Oops. Okay, I think just one more and we'll see, oops, how this goes. Where'd my scissors go? Here they are. So we have these circles, and then I'm also going to, I guess I can cut down the middle. We could put these on. So we have 4 pieces like this. We have these circles. And then we could also just put some of this on and see how that goes. Okay. Glue stick. So these have different colors, shapes, different kinds of mark making. I know we could think of lots of other things to do. Stamping, letter stickers, numbers. Let's see, where do I want to stick this? Not straight here. Thought I had 4 of those. Here it is. We could do like fussy cut stuff. Some napkin. Thought I brought some napkin with me. So this is kind of an interesting look. We're making use of all the parts, like a lot of our pioneer families like to do. I'm going to just do this one at an angle. Say they killed an animal for food, they like to use all the parts, not just their favorite little part. They were thrifty in that way. And I think a lot of times crafters, especially junk journal, we're thrifty in our supplies. This is really getting glued. Yep, I guess that's where it's going to go. All right, let's see. We can put these circles on. So we have just the paper. Oops. We have the circles that we punched out, and then we have the paper where we punched out the circles. And I am trying to kind of obliterate the pictures that are under here. Kind of adds more to the design when you're not staring an animal in the face. And when we cut them up, it'll be interesting to see how these look. And depending on what we add to it. I thought about doing text on some of these. But I think that I'll add some of that on the final little bit of book page or other kind of writing along with some pictures. Let's see. We could put a few of these out here. Oops. When you get your fingers really gluey, then it starts to become difficult to get things off your fingers. This puts a little bit more of this paper around. Oops. Let's see. All right, let's see, we got one left. We'll just put it right there. So here's this one with a little bit of paper. And we can add to that. Maybe we'll do another video where we cut them up and do something. Okay, so this one, we went with the yellow. No, do we like this? Kind of feels like it clashes some. I do have some origami paper right here. If we went more with just yellow, I could add some yellow plaids. Even some yellow flowers. That might be nice. Oops. And we could tear these, or we could cut them. Let's see. We cut it in half, and in half again, and then sort of make some strips. Oops, and some squares. So kind of go 2 strips and 2 squares. Gives us some uniformity, which you may or may not want in yours. If you want a more free-flowing, you can always just do that for this part, or just do it for the next phase. This does have all kinds of squiggly lines. Let's see, I'm gonna need something more to glue on. We have this still for a little while, but that's getting pretty gluey. But we'll continue on for now. So let's disperse these squares. And they are nice to have some that go clear up to the edges. Remember, we have 3 kinds of paper here. And we want to disperse them fairly equally, but also randomly. Oh, this one has dots on one side and plaid on the other. Okay. Are these all 2-sided? Nope, these are 1-sided. Okay, the plaid is one-sided. The plaid with the darker lines in it anyway. This plaid has also polka dots, so I'm going to go with a polka dot. Now, what could you do if you do not have wrapping paper? Well, any kind of scrapbook paper or even magazine paper could be used. Maybe it's even your doodle paper, or maybe it's a digital, like this is a digital. Maybe you have tissue paper or napkins you want to start off with your main thing. Now, what if you don't have file folders? Well, you could use product packaging. Open a big box. You could just use regular bond paper. Let's see, I'm going to move my little skinny ones off for a minute, just so I can finish dispersing these. So we had wrapping paper, then I used markers. Do you have markers? Crayons? Ink pens? Pencil, China marker, crayon, paintbrush, nail polish. What could you use to just make some marks on here? You could just use a stamp pad. Lots of options. Oops, for that. If some of these don't get completely glued down, we will. Oops, I was going to make that one a polka dot. We'll find them later and touch up any glue that needs to be done. I want to get another one of these on the polka dot side. Oops. There we go. So we did markers, which could be stamp or paint, and I might still stamp on these. I just don't know if I have any handy. So you can also do origami paper, like I put on here. You could do, like I said, magazines. You could do recycled grocery lists. You could do book pages. You could do the inside of envelopes. Oops. That's a little extra glue there. The little patterns that are in the security envelopes, those are good to use. Have a little extra glue here. You could do like activity books like this, the Sudoku or crossword. They could be out of the newspaper. Doesn't have to even be out of this. Maybe some of your kids' drawings or your nieces or nephews. Lots and lots of options for paper. So you don't have this exactly. What do you have? Maybe you have a junk mail flyer. Let's see. These are the same. Put this up here. So then I'm putting on some additional scraps of scrapbook paper. Now I've used whole origami 6x6 pieces, but you might just have one of these, and that might be all you have, and that's fine. You don't have to have a whole 6x6, and I did 3 different 6x6 to cover this up, but maybe you just use a few scraps that sort of add up to that. And then you could do some more marker or stamps. I do have a little bit of stamps here, so we might try that. This is getting really sticky again. Okay, I haven't done any of the rectangle strips. I think I can do those while holding them. So let's put some of those on. Kind of add a little additional yellow in here. Let's see, this plaid here. I don't really want the happy birthday words, so I kind of want to cover those up. And I have no idea how long I have had this wrapping paper or how long it's been torn, ready to be used. That's why I really need to sort out my house, because I have too many things like this. Okay, some polka dots down here, some plaid. Put it in there. Oops, another one of these plaids. And a polka dot. You can tell I like the polka dot because I've used it often. A few more of these. I just want to show with this that you can make quite a number of different looks with the same base, and that there's kind of an endless list of what you can do to add to it. Oops. And honestly, I could add some more stamps to this. I could add little bits of napkin scraps. I could add some fussy cut things, some book pages. I could go on and on putting stuff on here. Oops. Sometimes it's hard to know when to draw the line and stop. But you can see that we have a lot of the animal part covered, and just a little bit of stuff showing through still here and there. Stamping will obscure more the picture. Whoops. My fingers get extra gluey, then we start tearing the paper, so I gotta be careful. Sticks. Plaid. A lot of this plaid right there. Almost okay to have it overlap some. Maybe I'll just go through here. See, maybe I didn't need 3 of these, although I like the mix-up of colors. And you don't have to finish all the pieces that you have. You could go across some. I think I might stop and just throw these in my scraps that I can always put on additionally. Oops. Let's put some more paper on the other ones, and then we'll, oops, so we did these 2, and this one. So this is the one we didn't have anything on. Oops. And I thought I would take it in a different direction. I was gonna put some of this, but I really don't like the blue with that, so I'm gonna change my mind on that, and I'm just gonna go with these colors, which I don't mind, and I have some of this. So we'll do the same thing with this. We'll cut it down. Let's see, do some strips. Those are all going to be strips. Now this is going to have some words, and I think I like the small words here. This could be a page in a book though, so maybe I'm going to keep that one. Maybe this would be a better one to use. So maybe use this much of this one. These are some old Girl Scout cookie recipes that I got online. I just noticed the other day that it's Girl Scout cookie sale time again, in case anyone's hungry and interested. Peanut butter icebox dessert recipe. Uses Girl Scout peanut butter sandwich cookies. So these are all Girl Scout recipes. But now they're also things for my page. And I'm going to do these a little bit bigger. Partly to save some time. Okay. Let's glue these big ones on. Oops. Getting low on our glue stick. I'm going to get this, well, I'm not going to worry if it goes to the corner. Maybe a little bit of wrapping paper shining behind it will be fine. And this might be something that I would like to add something else to it. I definitely would like to cover up the thin mint. So we'll see what we can do with that. Kind of spread these around. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to see me do on the road, besides continue to gather items we can use and make use of. I think I might do an on the road one video later this week. And I have an idea for another hide and seek, but I don't think that will be this week. Might also be some putting color on papers, because I'm going to need that for our March challenge. So that might be a good thing to work on. This needs a little more. Let's see, I don't want to glue ourselves down here. Kind of mix these up a little. No matter how much we hurry, it always seems like this takes way more time to show than you expect. But you can always fast forward if you've already got the idea or have somewhere you need to be. And as far as cutting things up, one thing that I've found that it's good to have big ones, but it's also good to have some kind of tall ones or shorter ones or smaller ones. Like T-card size is a nice size. So maybe we'll cut some of these like T-cards. Oops. Like I said, we'll fix these edges if we need to, maybe even with the art glitter glue. Let's see, I don't have an orange one. This has a tab that sticks out, so That's why it's sticking out some. Let's do some of these smaller ones. And if you're thinking about upcoming journals, like I have a whole bunch of them in my head that I'm working on, kind of setting them up so I can do them on the road and to make ephemera for them. Try to keep them in mind when I'm making things, color-wise and subject matter-wise. I don't mind if some of these animals show. Can always cover them up in the final product if necessary or desired. But this takes this one a little different direction by putting on the pink orange. And I think by overlapping these kind of adds another dimension and look as well. Let's see, go through here. Whoops, be good if that touched probably. And this is just some colored tablet that I had that I've took a couple pages out of it and cut it up. And I've had these for years, so I have no idea where they came from. But if you search, you can find colored tablets pretty easily. I can see that possibly I'll use some of the art glitter glue on the edges if they're not sufficiently down. Okay, this one's almost covered with this first coat anyway. I have a script stamp here and saw something else. Oh, kind of a bug jar it looks like. Maybe we'll just do the script stamp. Let's see. Put this one, whoops, crossed here. And where do I want some more? Kind of up here. These are some painted papers I've done on some recycled, well, in this case it's recipes. Sometimes they're activity pages. Sometimes I print out, before GPS, because I have old stuff around here, I would print a map out before I was going to go somewhere, so I would know how to get to something. And when it has lost it's outlived its usefulness, then I can recycle it by painting on it or composting it in the yard. I'm still working on that, our nature collage. You just haven't seen much through the winter. I honestly haven't been in my yard very much this winter. It's kind of on its own. And if I go on the road, my gardening will probably be largely on its own. It's more like, what does it grow itself? Okay, I'm feeling like we need something this direction up here, like that. And now we have 3 of these left. This one is a little longer. So what if we, I don't know, do we want to make little squares or sort of squares? They'll be varied, I guess. Whoops. Oh, one casualty. Okay, this is different down here. So this adds a geometrical feel. You could certainly do this with coffee dyed papers to make it more neutral. Let me know if you're interested in some of the subject matter of my upcoming journals. The ones that I've started collecting stuff for, or maybe even started journal covers. Don't mind sharing that. I know I have several cats and dogs. I also have some lace and roses and a number of snow ones. I've made a lot of ephemera for those, which we'll have to look at one of these days soon. Maybe if I get the covers done and some signatures in them, then you can sort the ephemera that's done out and you can see them then. Let's see, I'll just stick this one out here. I think this would lend itself to some little tears of napkin for some variety. This is sticking up. I don't really want to stick that in there though, so I think we'll glue that down. Maybe some orange here. And then our last one is this one, which is also an orange one. It's like that. Maybe we'll just overlap it like that. Okay. So we have this. Like I said, we'll need to make sure all the little pieces are down, but I'm going to wait till I trim it for that. So we have this one, which has added kind of a pinky color to it. We have this one that kind of continued our circles with just the, I guess it was two kind of shades of a minty sort of green. And we have this one where we've pulled up the yellows and oranges. And then we have this one where we have greens and purples. So here's my little tiny script stamp. And let's see what I have in a color that would look good. Oops, sorry. I need to get a new black. The one I was using the other day is not working well. I'm gonna hope this one will look nice. Kind of with a lot of them, because it kind of goes with the wrapping paper. I do have a little applier, something on the bottom. I'll share some words of wisdom. When you have this, it looks like the stamp pad. It's the little Velcro part to go on your handle, and then this is the stamp applicator. If you put it in here, you can save it for this one, and then this is the little stamp pad. Well, I had them on my couch, and this are very similar sized, and somehow I got it upside down, and I was pushing on this side to try to stamp something, and it just wasn't working well, and I was trying to figure out why, until I realized that I was actually pushing the stamp part of the ink, thankfully the Velcro, but it still had ink around the edge, onto my couch cushion, which isn't a good thing. I think this actually goes this way, although I don't think it really matters because you can't read it. thankfully it came back off. It's a dark brown couch, so it didn't show too bad. And I did wash it with a wet washcloth right away, and so it did come off. And this is a busy background, so the writing doesn't show up really well, but it still adds some interest. Just kind of, oops, putting it all over the place. I especially like it on these striped ones. It's just nicer than, oops, just this plain scrapbook paper by itself. Okay, that's most of the places. So here's this one. Let's see. I need a little bit of something up there. There we go. So here's this one. And I think I will leave it at this until I cut it out. Let's see if I have a cutter here that I can use. Let's try the same thing. I think this color goes good with the wrapping paper, so let's just put some writing on here. Just kind of randomly across. The size you're going to cut them into might affect how big the stuff is that you're going to put on here. You know, the scraps of paper or the stamps. If you're going to cut them really small, then you're probably not going to have a variety of papers on them. But if you're cutting them really big, they might just look like they're floating though too. So this does go fairly quickly. Because you can't read it, it just works to just randomly put them on here. I really don't know. I think this curlied side is the top. Along with cutting my covers today and gluing them onto the envelopes, which you can look back at my other journal playlist. You can see me make covers like that. But when I cut the corners off, I kept the little pieces of cut off fabric and gonna make clusters, fabric clusters with them. And actually an upcoming video before long is going to be clusters, because I have lots of stuff for clusters. Really kind of like this one. So here we have this one in the yellow oranges with the green. Okay, let's see this one with the, do we have 5 of these? No, we have 4. Okay, so this one and one more. Kind of works to just hold this and just keep inking it and pressing it down. Working my way across. I do like the craft wrapping paper better than this glossy or partly glossy kind, but I just already had a bunch of it, so I am going ahead and using it. But in the future, I doubt I will buy any more glossy wrapping paper. For one thing, I don't really have people to wrap gifts for. So I don't need it for wrapping paper, and I don't have gifts that are coming to me with wrapping paper. So I don't have a need to have general wrapping paper, and I like the craft kind for projects. It's more like the craft paper that you might find in packing or something. It's the non-glossy is actually just a higher quality, I think, for journal making. You can see the more layers that you add to this, the more you get an abstract coverage, and the individual things become less important. It's kind of like when we're in a community. If we just have one of us standing on a street corner, then we're very obvious that that's us and what we are like, what we look like and act like, and how old we are and how big we are, tall or whatever. Might even be able to tell some of our attributes, but if we get us in a small group of people or a larger group, or if we're taking a satellite image of a whole field of people, then it becomes more of an abstract. So here's this one. It's quite busy, and I like that, how it's blended in, but you can still see like a tiger or a duck occasionally, and that's okay. Now here's the last one. This is the one we did with the painted papers and the scrapbook tablet. So this is going to show up probably the most because it's more different than the background. So this one might benefit from an additional stamp because we have this more solid paper. Just see if I have, other than the bottle of bugs, which I don't necessarily want to use. I think I'll just leave this still like this, and then when we cut them apart, we can add an additional layer and the other things that we add to them will give it definition. I think the script stamp really adds a dimension. And also if you have part of a page, if you just have part of something, you can't really read it, but you do want to read what it is you're putting there, because it might be saying something you just don't really want to have on there. Maybe it isn't age appropriate, maybe it doesn't apply to your values, or maybe it's just not pleasant. You know, it's about war or killing or something like that. I think we tend to like happier thoughts, but life is full of all of them. Okay, so we are a mess, but there we go. Now I could go in and add, you know, some more pen, but I think we'll leave it at this one as well. Let's see, do I have a cutter here, but I need to put a new blade on things, so I'm not sure if this is gonna cut well or not, but let's give it a try. Well, first of all, we take the scissors and clean up the edge so we can find the edge to make it go straight. Now these are about 9 by 12, somewhere between 8.5 by 11 and 9 by 12, somewhere in there. So we can cut things accordingly. Now this does not have an extension. Oh yeah, it does on the top. A lot of people gave me some of these. They're used. Don't always know how to use them. Doesn't want to come out. Well, let's just go down kind of in the middle to make this smaller. Just fold close to the line. Like that. Okay. And oops. So you'll get little pieces off that you either have to adjust for later or something. Okay, this is the 3-inch. We could make some tags. Okay, when it moves, it's hard for me to put it back, so I think we'll switch over to the scissors to just finish nipping that. Since things don't have to be any precise size, we'll just play it by ear. This is let's see, 0. It's a little less than 12. So this is 3. If we make it, you just kind of make it in half approximately. Let's just go in this pink splotch here. So we made 2 like this, and we can now angle the corners. We made some bigger ones here. Now this has a tab. Maybe we'll go over here 4. Is this straight? Yeah. First of all, we'll keep the tab. Well, most of the tab we kept, not all of it. And you can decide to keep a tab or cut it shorter so you lose that part. This just had a little rounding there. So here's a big card. And I'm gonna cut this straight because it just had a little thing sticking in it. It does have a little whoop-de-doo here. Oops, come on. You want to rest the blade of your scissors on the edge of the cardstock. Alright, so if this was in half, looks like it'd be close to 4. So let's just do 4. And whatever is left over, give me that back. It's close to 4. So here's some journal cards. And a bigger journal card. And then either small journal cards, or we can angle them and make them tags. And I think we'll just work on cutting the one. We can see the other ones later. see, do I need more journal cards or more? So we were going to do tea cards. Those are like 1.5 inches by 2.5 maybe. It's just off the top of my head. Let's see. In my sorting it out, I'm trying to assign certain ephemera to certain journals if I know it goes in it. Like this pink one I think would look good in my rose and lace journal, but it could go in some of the dog and cat stuff too. Now this is extra sticking up, so we'll give it some glue. All right, so this, let's see, these here, let's see, this one was 4, so I wanted to make tea cards. So if we went 2.5, 2.5, I don't know if that's the right size or not. Kind of have to be careful when you're going along and, whoops, running into the edges of these papers. This isn't quite tall enough. It's not tall enough for the tea card, so we'll cut something a little bigger. See, this isn't cutting really well, and I now just took a notch out of this. I'll have to straighten that up, which means this isn't really straight either. I think I really just need to buy a new cutter. All these donated ones were okay, but not real useful. Let's see. So right where this notch is where the cutting blade is. It was at 3.5. Are they 3 inches? I'm gonna go 3.5. They might be a little bigger tea cards, but that's okay. Oops, hang on. Go a little more. Now see, this was just a little tiny piece that's not going to stay on there. So let's see how wide. 1 inch. Maybe they need to be 1 inch. So if we cut this at 4. And we don't have to hold on to the 1 as much if we do it little by little. I think those are too skinny. This is 3, so let's do 1.5. I think this is a better size, 3 by 1.5. We'll make use of all of those though. Okay, so this is 3.5. Could do 3.5 by 2. That's a nice small journal card. Where is the 2 line? Right here. Hopefully we're in camera. And maybe I'll just leave that one bigger. We'll cut some corners on it later. This one would make a nice belly band. I wish I could get this to, oh, there we go, to come out. Where is the 8-inch? 7, so this is the 8. I like my belly bands to be more like 8 rather than 8.5 generally. Maybe 8.25. A little bit of extra room there. So that gave us a little card and a belly band. And now we have this one, which will need to be straightened out a little bit. Let's see if we stick this on the, see, 2.5. Seems like you have to lean over. Even then, we have a little bit of a unevenness here. Yeah, this really isn't a good cutter. So this could also be a belly band though. Let's make it 8.25. Okay, so our one file folder, we have 2 belly bands. We have this big journal card. And, oops, these are fairly big journal cards. We have some smaller journal cards. Kind of a square. I think it's about a 3 by 3. It's a journal card too. And then these are small journal card or card sort of size. I'm gonna have to research what that really is. Maybe they're more like this size for T cards. And then this one is a really little skinny one, but sometimes you just need something really little. So that can become in handy too. So we have all of these. Plus we have these 3 to still cut. So thank you for coming along on this journey to use it up. And as I sort out stuff in my house, I hope you have a great day, that it's full of fun and creativity and love. Come back soon and we'll make some more things. And maybe even on the road in my journeys, I will decorate these. I think these might work really nice for my cat and dog ones, and they might all in some ways, although I like these for the roses ones. So thank you for joining me. This is Peggy from the Pearl Forest.